Hi everyone, morning. So Hacker's passed its first test because you've come back on day 2. So thank you for that. And I hope those of you who were at the dinner last night enjoyed yourselves. I had to go, so I didn't see whether you actually did manage to do the dancing on the tables, but hopefully some of you did. I saw a lot of really exciting stuff yesterday. I saw some really high quality presentations. I saw some very confident presenters, and yet I suspect some of the people presenting yesterday wasn't your normal mode. So I saw some really good stuff, and I saw presentations addressing important issues. A couple of questions kind of resonated for me, which I think we can increasingly make a theme of Hacker into the future, because this is now a brand. You do realise that Hacker is going to be going on into the future. And the two things that were in my mind for each, and I'm not saying this by way of criticism at all, but the first one in every instance was what was the question that drove the work, and whose question was it? So that was for every presentation, that was something that was in my mind. And then connected to that, what was done with it? What was the decision process into which this work was intended to play? And did that happen? So I think as we progress Hacker, I think increasingly we'll be asking people to try and share stories which include those two ends of the journey. How was the problem formulated? How was the question determined, which led to the analysis, and what was done with it? But I'm not saying anything, that's by nothing in that criticism of what we saw, but I think that's the journey we all need to go on, because if as the analytical community we sit and wait for the leadership community to improve their problem formulation, or to suddenly decide they want to spend a lot of time advancing their own skills to interact with analysts, I think we'll be waiting for a long time. I think a fundamental challenge, particularly for analytical leaders, is to step up and almost force ourselves into that part of the discussion. The other thought that I was struck by is the huge potential for duplication and the huge potential, therefore, for doing a better job of collaboration. So again, I saw fantastic pieces of analysis, but in many instances I could imagine that multiple times across the country a similar piece of work is being done. And yet at present we've got no system for anyone to know that, and we've got no system that supports people to join up so we can become more effective at building on and borrowing from what other people have done, rather than in every instance starting from scratch. Now, we're trying to do this thing in the Midlands region, the Midlands Decision Support Network, as a venture to try and find a more effective way to collaborate. And we're trying to push the boundaries on that a bit. So this year we're doing a project which is looking at collectively learning the skills to do a genuine piece of collaborative analysis, parallel coding, all that kind of stuff. Not just chatting every now and then about what we're doing, genuinely trying to find a way across multiple teams to address a single question through collaborative analysis. If there's anyone in the room, anywhere across the 4 nations, who's interested in joining in on an effort to try to create a more effective collaborative culture across analytics for the NHS, and who thinks that you could find a few friends who think the same, and who thinks you might, following Ben Goldacre's suggestions yesterday, that you might be prepared to put a bit of effort into fighting for a bit of resource to support that, get in touch with us, because we think that kind of learning community will only come if we build it from the front line. So, enjoy today, find some more stuff to borrow with pride.